Not only do I have an update for you on the 3D printed frog drama happening in my apartment building right now, but the whole situation has devolved into an outright war. For those who aren't up to date on the lore, a few weeks ago somebody put these little pipe cleaner dogs in my apartment building's lobby, so I 3D printed them a little frog friend to hang out with, and I thought that was going to be the story. Until about a week later I got home and somebody had stole him, whether malicious or not. I took this as an act of war and printed 5 more frogs to put up on post here. I firmly believe strength comes in numbers, and I wasn't just going to sit back and let people steal my sons, and for a few weeks there was peace in the apartment building lobby until I left for a 1-week trip, and when I got back the battlefield has significantly changed. We now lost 2 frogs, we definitely have a thief on the loose, 1 pipe cleaner dog, and a new contender, this little pipe cleaner bee. At this point I know we're in outright war. I didn't even bother taking off my shoes or unpacking my bag. I went right home and I queued up an absolute army for the printer. Printed these out on max speed because time was of the essence. We needed to get these guys deployed as soon as possible. Here they are, all lined up, ready to go. We're going to pull them off the build plate, then stow them away, get them ready for deployment here. We had to wait for nightfall and the cover of dusk before making any moves. We couldn't risk getting caught on this mission. Once the sun went down, it was go time. We had our troops loaded up and down we went. We had to make sure to play super covert here. Made it down to the lobby and luckily all of our troops were still standing strong. We had support ready to go. We first had to check all of our angles. Then it was time to deploy. We managed to get them all deployed, and at this point I am taking this personally. I will print out these frogs faster than anybody could steal them. Your apartment will be overflowing and inaccessible with frogs before I even think about shutting down my printer. That being said though, we are locked in. I don't think anybody's going to mess with these guys. These troops have a long battle ahead of them, so we left them with a salute. On my way back upstairs, we did have 1 frog lodged away in the back of my pocket. Unfortunately, conscription is mandatory for this war, and we won't have any draft dodgers. I will not have my little homies stolen. Keep an eye out for more updates, because I think this is long from over. We're here at Open Sauce where a whole bunch of nerds show off all the cool stuff they built. Today we're here with...
My name is Tom from Every Flavor Robotics. So what we have is a webcam, takes your picture, sends it to our computer, and then it draws your whole entire face on an Etch-a-Sketch. So we use our own MotorGo board. It's right here. It's got 2 motor drivers, an ESP32, power management, sensor ports, and USB communications, and Wi-Fi Bluetooth. So we've just got one of those sitting in there. We've got a Raspberry Pi, and that's going to do all the image processing to convert the picture into G-code. Right. It sends the G-code file to the MotorGo, and then that MotorGo drives our 2 drone motors to drive that, make all the pictures and all that stuff.
Cool. I think one of the biggest things most people see, drone motors aren't well known for being accurate. No. A lot of people would say, this seems like a job for a stepper motor. Can you talk about how you solve that problem and are able to really draw accurate lines with drone motors?
Yeah, so we use 16-bit magnetic encoders on the back of each motor, and so we get really precise position control on the motors. And honestly, we just did this to challenge ourselves. Like, we could have dropped in a stepper motor and it would have been pretty straightforward. It would have just worked. But we wanted to really test the limits of our MotorGo by doing that, and you know, it kind of works.
Amazing. So what you technically did here is make a servo. It's a motor with an encoder strapped to it to realize its position.
Yes,
correct?
That's right.
Right, awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about the hardest engineering problem you had to solve when building this out?
Yeah, so for this demo, the software was definitely the hardest part. Taking a picture, converting it into a sketch, then converting it into G-code, then optimizing the G-code so it has to backtrace itself all over the place instead of jumping across the screen. That dev process probably took 2 to 3 weeks.
Crazy.
And yeah, it was a hard slog to get the photo booth up and running for Open Sauce, but we're really glad that it worked, and it's been a lot of fun. I think we've done about 300 photos at Open Sauce so far.
So cool. And if somebody were to want to get into building cool stuff like this, making, what's one piece of advice you might give them?
Yeah, I would say just start, do it, keep going, and find friends to do it with you, because it's a lot more fun when you have friends.
Great piece of advice. It's a really cool project. If anybody wanted to either get your hands on some of the hardware that you use or kind of learn more, where can they find you guys?
Yeah, so we're on YouTube at Every Flavor of Robot, and we have a website, motorgo.net, where we're hoping to release the MotorGo soon and make it available to everyone.
Cool. I actually saw their YouTube video prior to coming here. They do a really good job summarizing all of this. I'd highly recommend checking them out on YouTube there. Awesome. Thanks for your time showing us all that, man.
Thank you.